Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. Today, we're going to talk about everything that is new in the intermediate versions 19.1 and 19.2 for the manufacturing apps. My name is Anna. I'm a business analyst and manufacturing expert at Odoo, so I focus mostly on project implementation and the functional part, and I'm here with Mathieu, the product owner. So today, we split the agenda in 3 main topics. So we divided the new features in planning and forecasting news, manufacturing execution, so a bit of shop floor, a bit of really execution and manufacturing orders, and maintenance and repair. We will end with the Q&A, so we will take advantage that we're here with Mathieu for some specific questions to him, and I will be here as well in case. Just a quick reminder before we start. So we will talk about everything that's new in 19.1 and 19.2, which means things that are available now in the SaaS version of Odoo. So if you recently created a database, it should be in 19.2. So if you are in Odoo on Odoo SH instead, you will need to wait for Odoo 20 to be available in order to have all these features ready in your database. We will, of course, give you even more features for 20. So you will need to wait for the Odoo experience in September to be able to see everything that we are showing today. All right.
Thank you, Anna. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you again. I am Mathieu Germain, the MRP product owner at Odoo. And today I'm really happy to showcase to you what has already been done in the road to version 20. One of the main focuses of version 20 will be on planning and forecasting. And with the recent release of 19.2 and 19.1 a few months before that, I am happy to show you what has already been done. And so without further ado, I will go straight to the demonstration. So, first of all, we go to our manufacturing module. I will talk about the planning on the high level. So what I mean about planning on the high level is the planning of the manufacturing order. So for that, I will go to my list of manufacturing orders here. I will select the manufacturing orders that are to be planned with this new to plan filter here. And I will focus today on the planning of the stool product. So to find that product, I will just type the name here, and Odoo is going to find me all of the manufacturing orders for that product. Over here, I have a range of variants for that production. So I have some greens, some grays, some navy colors to plan. One of the new things with the planning is that we have changed the default planning method of Odoo to be as soon as possible. That offers more flexibility because we consider that if you plan a manufacturing order, it's because the components are available and you want to start as soon as possible. With the previous versions, we always planned from the scheduled date of the MO at the earliest, which meant that it potentially led to a few holes in your planning, which is not ideal. And so a typical example is here that, for instance, let's say that even if Odoo here proposes me to do the green first and then the gray, let's say that I decide that I want to plan the manufacturing orders of my gray products first. You will see that even though the date is in the future, if I plan here from the MO, it has been scheduled already on March 18 at 10:44, which is now, which means that there is already availability on my manufacturing lines for my assembly operation here. Now I can go and plan the green one, and you will see it will be planned after the initial one, so at 10:44. For the ones who want to keep the method from before, we have maintained it. It's still useful for cases, for instance, where you just want to make sure a manufacturing order is prioritized, but you don't have the components yet. For instance, let's look at this MO18 over here. You can see that its materials are expected to arrive on the 23rd of March here, because this one needs a specific cover. And so in this case, I don't want to plan as soon as possible, but I want to use the previous planning method from before, which is the planet date over here. And as you can see, here in my planning, Odoo has looked at the 23rd of March and planned as soon as possible based on that date. One of the new things with the planning is that all of the planning changes are tracked in the chatter also, so that you see over here initially it was planned on the 23rd of March, and it was actually planned on the 24th of March, probably because the 23rd is not a working day. And one of the new things also is that if you unplan your manufacturing order, Odoo will go back to its initial date. So this is really great if you want to iterate a little bit with your planning, and if you're not happy with what Odoo gives you, it goes back to the initial date, which was not the case before. So this is all small changes, but that can be quite efficient for your planning. There is another use case which is quite cool, is that now I've shown you how to plan from the manufacturing order form, but let's say you want to plan from the manufacturing order list view. In that case, Odoo is going to look at the list of your planning and plan in that sequence. A good use case is, for instance, if you want to plan based on the deadline of a manufacturing order. In that case, I will just add my deadline here to my manufacturing order list view. I will sort by deadline, and then I will just say, okay, I want to plan first deadlines first, and then you plan like that, and Odoo is going to plan those MOs in that order. All right, so more flexibility over here for your overall planning at the MO level, and there will be more to come. So now let's look at work order planning. So when you talk about planning, this is where it gets really interesting. And as you know, the work order planning, so first of all, maybe for the ones who are less familiar with Odoo, a work order is just an operation or a series of operations to do as part of your manufacturing order. So for instance, and if I look at the manufacturing order here, this is the manufacturing order, this is the components that I need to consume, and the work orders over here are the sequence of operations that I need to do in order to complete my final product. You can create one or you can create several. In this case over here, there's only one operation for each manufacturing order. And for those who are familiar with Odoo, you remember that the work order planning, it has this dedicated menu item over here, and it has been completely redesigned. So first of all, there is a new dedicated Gantt menu, which replaces the previous planning by work center menu. And this is where you will typically find here on the y-axis all of your work centers. So here I have my 3 work centers: assembly line 1, assembly line 2, and my drill station. And then over here you will find the work orders. Let me do a quick zoom on today, and let's say that I want to visualize my planning in a weekly manner. And you will see over here all of the manufacturing orders that we have planned previously. What is one of the things that is new in this view is that you now get this sidebar over here of work orders to plan. So now you can take a work order, you can pre-visualize it if you want just by clicking on it, and you can just drag and drop it to your planning. Again, just as before, I can also just filter work orders from a specific product, and Odoo is going to filter the work orders, and I can use attribute values over here. Let's say I just want to see, sorry, the gray work orders. Odoo is going to filter these two, and imagine I want to plan these first. I can just drag and drop like that. Let's try for this one over here, for instance. And if you want to unplan it, just simply drag and drop it back to the side panel. You can also decide to hide the side panel. If you decide to hide it, it will not be shown when you go back to the menu if you don't want to use it. But you don't need to just drag and drop. You can also just use click on the work center here. Odoo is going to give you the list of all of the work orders that have to be done in this work center, and you'll be able to plan more at once. So let's do the same example. I take this tool. over here in assembly line 1. In assembly line 1, let's say I want to do the gray ones over there. So I'm going to search again on the attribute, and let's say that now these two work orders of these MOs, I want to plan them here. Let me just refresh. Here, sorry, I had to refresh my screen so that they appear. So now it's quite useful if you want to be a bit more flexible on your shop floor, because let's say, for instance, over here in assembly line 2, I want to now plan the green ones because those two work centers are equivalent, but I want to separate the colors. Just click on assembly line 2. You can untick the work orders that are initially planned on this work center, because you want to select the green stools that are initially for assembly line 1. Again, I do it here. I take the green ones over here. Let's say I just take these, let's just one for the example, and you plan it over here and it appears. Okay, so basically the work center that you choose will prevail on the initial work center that is set on the operation. And so more flexibility over here, and it's also showing you one of the new things we did with the planning in version 19.2, is that now work orders can be planned individually. So whereas before on the manufacturing order, when we plan all of the work orders at once, now from this view, if you want to be a bit more flexible, you can also plan individual work orders. So now let's go back to one of the new things in version 19.2. You will notice that there is a brand new Kanban menu item. This is a brand new view that we are introducing for version 19.2. And while the Gantt view is great for visualizing load, for instance over here, it's great to see the time that was planned versus the capacity of the work center. It's not the best tool to rearrange priorities on the shop floor. Let's say that now I change my mind. I want to do on assembly line 1, I don't know, the tables before the stools. It's not the easiest view to manipulate if you want to do that. So in order to give you even more flexibility on your planned work orders, we have introduced this new view. It looks like this. Over here, it's a typical Kanban structure. So we are doing a group by work center by default. You find here all of the work orders that we've planned before. You have the name of the product, the quantity that you need to manufacture. You have the MO, whether it's a priority or not. And you have the schedule date over here. At the top, you have two buttons. You have the possibility to plan orders. In here, we will plan. We will select manufacturing orders to plan. But you can also click here on the little plus, and Odoo will do just like in the Gantt and select individual work orders. So as you prefer. And then here on the bottom part, you have two things. You have the remaining time of the work order, which is updated in real time, and you have the possibility to assign an employee onto your work order and visualize the status of the various work orders. You can also update it from here if you want. And so it's great because it gives you flexibility to rearrange things on the shop floor. Let's say I want to do this work order before this one. I can just change it like that so easily. And it also gives you a great overview of what is happening, who is working on what, and yeah. So let me do a short demo. So to do a short demo, I will go to the Plan Orders button over here, and let's say that I'm going to plan all of the remaining stool manufacturing orders. So I'm going to select my product over here, and I see here I still have 3 MOs to plan, and I will just plan them like that. So over here, you didn't really notice anything different, I think, because it planned everything on assembly line 1, which is why here the list has just become a bit bigger. But imagine now, I want to say, well, the gray, I want to do it on assembly line 2. So I can just move my work orders like this to the other line. Let's see if there's another gray one over here. Perfect. And so I'll look at this planning. I say, okay, so the green here, actually, no, I don't want to do it here. So I want to do green on assembly line 1, finish then with a gray, with a navy, sorry, and all of the gray I want to do on assembly line 2. Once you have done that, you can click on this update planning button over here, and Odoo is going to reschedule all of the work orders and give them new dates based on their new work centers or on their new position in the view. And then we use a color code to tell you whether the scheduled date is today. Typically it's orange. If the scheduled date is in the past, it will be red to tell you that you are late. And if it's gray, it means that it's in the future. Note that it will also be red if the deadline of the MO has passed. Or if the scheduled date is so that you will finish the MO after its deadline. So few cool visual indicators. So let's do a few. Let's now assign a few employees to my different work orders. Let's say I want Abigail to work on these 2 work orders over here, and then I want Anita to work on this one. It's super easy to assign people. Sorry, here I just clicked on the work order. And then on assembly 2, I can just assign someone else. Let's say here, this employee, and then let's say Beth Evans over here, right? And then I want, So I think that's it's a really great tool for you to see what's happening on the shop floor. And also note that the order of the cards over here will be reflected on the shop floor. So the employees who are looking at the order of cards in the shop floor, of course, the order of cards in the shop floor interface will reflect that. But note that shop floor will be shown by Anna a bit more at the end of the presentation. As a reminder, shop floor is the dedicated app to process these work orders for your employees. It's super easy to timesheet, to register component consumption, to register scrap, mark work orders as done, and so it's really a good. It's really your manufacturing execution system. And so I think that with this view, it's really bridging the gap between the shop floor management and what is actually happening. So yeah, we're really excited about that. Last thing, I've just talked about employee planning over here. We have also a brand new view here for the employee planning. And so how does it look? Let me just zoom in a little bit before I explain it to you. Here I'm in this current week. I see the different loads of my different employees. So you see I've just assigned a few work orders in the kanban, and now I can make sure that no one is working more than someone else, and that also the leaves of employees are considered when in the view. So for instance, I think if I go to next week, for instance, I see Anita here. She's on holiday next week, and so I'm not going to assign her work orders then. And just like in the previous Gantt that I showed you, you can also just use the drag and drop from before, and actually just pay attention to 2 things. The work orders that you see over here, those are all of the unplanned work orders, so they have not been planned yet. And then you see over here at the top of the Gantt, you have all of the work orders that have been planned. So we have decided we will do them on Wednesday the 18th, but they have not been assigned to an employee yet, which is why they are in this unassigned work order section. But I can just drag and drop them here to my employees if I want. And so as you can see here, the load of my different employees has been updated, and there is no more work orders to assign. So I have done my job as the manufacturing planner. Now, finally, while we are talking about manufacturing planning, let's go to the MPS really quick. So there's a small new thing in the MPS, which is now that it's possible to do a quick search on product categories. As you know, it's the MPS. It's a really heavy tool, and finding your way in here is one of the most important things. And so it might be small, but now if you just type, for instance, the name of your product category here in the search, I mean, here I'm all in furniture product category, but it will find the right materials. There will be more UX improvements to come to the MPS. We are working them at the moment. And we are also working on performance as we see larger and larger demands of larger and larger clients using that tool. So we are note that we are focusing on these 2 things. Now, still on forecasting, I want to take you somewhere else where there has also been improvements. I will go to the bill of materials. So the bill of materials, as you know, it's the basis of what we do here in MRP. Here, if I go to my list of bill of materials, I will consider my table bill of materials over here. So we're going to another product. You see your components over here, your various operations which create work orders, as we have showed you just before. And then, really importantly, you have the BOM overview over here. The BOM overview is great. Why? Because for two things mainly. So first of all, it gives you a really good breakdown of costs. Over here in version 19.2, we have added always the unit cost here on the report. Note also that we are always displaying it in the of the product. So if you're producing a different unit than you are, for instance, selling it, we will still show you the unit cost here that is on the product form. So it's great to analyze costs of your bill of materials. Typically, we divide it in two sections. We have the components here and we have the operations over here. Just clicking on the line expands it, just for your information. And also, the other thing for which it's great is that it allows you to look at your bill of materials across various levels, right? Because on the BOM form over here, we only have one level, but in this case, the tabletop actually has it's a semi-finished product, and it has its own bill of material. And so, if you want to have one place where you can visualize everything, you can just go to the bill of material overview, expand the line, and see that actually this tabletop, it's made up also of its wood panel that is itself made up of a ply layer, a Noel layer, and it has its own operation, right? And so it's really great for that. So yeah, I'll close the parenthesis on why you should use the BOM overview more, and I'll take you to the forecast mode over here. So the forecast mode is great because it looks at your. Wait, I'll just go make it a bit simpler. So the forecast mode, it's great because it gives you an overview on the availability of your final product and components. So for instance, over here, I have the estimated date of the next production for this product. So for instance, here I say I have 2 free to use, 2 on hand, which is great, which means that nothing is reserved. And if I want more, I know that the next availability will be on the 23rd of March. And why is because I need to buy this material over here. So here, one of the new things that we have done is that we have merged the next availability date column and the status column. Why? For 2 reasons. Mainly because most of the time the information was very similar, and also the report is already quite heavy to read, and so we thought that doing that will make the view a bit easier to digest. Which brings me to my last point. Also note that all of the tags over here are clickable. And they're clickable and they redirect you to the forecast report. So for instance, over here, if I need to buy my table legs, I can just click here on the tag. It redirects me to the forecast report where you see everything that is coming in, everything that is going out, and your future forecast. And you have also a more detailed view here on the bottom. And you can also directly replenish the missing quantities from here. And here there has also been a small improvement done by my colleagues in the stock team, which is that when you now replenish, when you ask Odoo to replenish a product that has a buy route, here in the we used to show you the price lists of the component, but now you have access to the supplier instead. Why is that nice? It's nice for 2 reasons. The first one is that if you have different price lists for the same supplier based on the quantities that you want to buy, Odoo is going to select the best price for you, so you don't have to force a price list anymore. And also, if you just want to get a quote from a different supplier, you now have access to the whole catalog of suppliers in your database, and so you can just ask a quote from someone else easily without having to go to the product and create a specific price list for it. So that's pretty much it for me. I just want to show you one last thing because there has been also a small change on the time formats that we use. We have talked a lot about work orders today, and you will notice that here the format in which we show you the duration of a work order has changed everywhere in MRP. We now use this really cool new format where we can still input the time in minutes as before, because the minutes is the default unit of measure for our work order. So I can just put 60 over here, and Odoo is going to understand that it's 1 hour. But I can also be a bit more, let's say, precise and say this operation actually it's 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 4 seconds, let's say. And I just have to use the H for the hour, the M for the minutes, and the S for the seconds. And then Odoo is going to use that format. So here, although it doesn't show it in this screen, there is a second precision on the work order. So don't worry about that. And yeah, we have updated that everywhere on the work orders. You can see here that the seconds they're correctly taken into account. Yeah, just I'm saying that because you might be surprised that the formats have changed in your next database. That's it for me. I will come back at the end of the presentation for the Q&A, and in the meantime, I will hand it over back to my colleague Anna.
Thank you, Mathieu. It will be hard to beat those new features Mathieu just explained, but we still have something cool coming. So in terms of manufacturing execution, I will briefly explain, and then I will show you also in the database. Some improvements are now the possibility to split our manufacturing orders or to create back orders in the end, even without closing the manufacturing order, which was not possible before. So when we are in progress now, what we can do is say, you know what, I will produce less and produce the remaining quantities later, and that is possible now. In terms of serial number and lot number, it's a small feature, but it makes the user experience quite better, a bit smoother. In the shop floor, if we have a product that is tracked by serial or lot number, we will see it also. We will not be blocked when we close the production if we forgot to add the serial. Odoo will populate it for us automatically. We have the option, of course, to force the user input, the operator on the shop floor input, by using quality checks. I will also show it, but this makes it a bit smoother, as I was saying, for our employees. Now we have also, this is also something a bit minor, but just for you to know, not to be surprised if you have an upgrade or just install a new database. The flexible consumption field on the bill of material is not there anymore. So right now, the way Odoo will work is always by showing a warning whenever we consume more or less than expected. So that's going to be now the default in the system. And finally, in my opinion, the best feature of this block, at least, is the HTML notes. So in version 18, we added a new field called notes on the manufacturing orders. This would allow users to communicate a bit back and forth from the manufacturing backend to the shop floor. It was already a really nice improvement, but now we made it even better because now this field is an HTML field. So it means we can not only put a text, but we can put really basically anything we want. It can be a picture, checklist, PDF, so that it's always there on our manufacturing order and in the shop floor at any point of our process. So not related to an operation, not an instruction-specific document, but really just a general manufacturing document. And not only it's an HTML field, but it's also, you can add it to the BOM now. And so if you are, for example, maybe in an ETO case where you're building a BOM directly for your client specific, you might want to attach a specific document that your client sent you, or a specific drawing and so on. As I said, not related necessarily maybe to the operation, but to the general global order. You can put it on the BOM, and then when you will be manufacturing the order, that document, that picture, that list, anything you have added will be available in the shop floor to interact with. So let me just show you all of these features in a little use case in our database. So for this, I will use a different product. I will use the drawer product. I will actually start from my BOM. So I will use this one since we have some operations so that we make it as complete as possible. So the flexible consumption that I was mentioning used to be here. As you see, it's not there anymore. It's normal, so no panic when you don't see it anymore. And the new field, the notes HTML, is now called additional notes. And as you see, it's available from the BOM. So as I was mentioning, it's an HTML, and that's why Odoo is suggesting me to type the slash to give the commands. This type of fields, you find them in a lot of different places, also in the rest of the database. But it's really cool to now have it also in the manufacturing scope. So when I type / you see that it suggests me what I want to add, and I can choose, as I said, basically anything you want to put, you will be able to put. It can be even a link, a table, really anything. In my case, I can maybe put like a checklist, so we can see how that would work. So, okay, that's not supposed to necessarily replace your instructions and quality checks, which give you like the best traceability you can get, but this is more just like, let's say, more communication or something that really applies on the global manufacturing. So if you have also instructions that apply to, you have a lot of steps, operations, but the instructions are the same and shared across all your process, this is great because you don't need to put them for each step, each operation, but you could just put them here, for example. So that's what I will do. I will also add a file. So I will put just like a PDF, and I will load, in this case it's a picture, but I will load it as a PDF, so we will see also how it looks like. So that's the one new feature that we will see how now it will look like when we execute the order. And so we can now launch the first production of our drawer. I will use my second assembly, the one I just was working on. And we can see the additional notes are inherited directly from the BOM. I can still change them. So if for this manufacturing order, I need to add something, remove something, I'm totally free to do it. In this case, I'm fine with this. And I will launch a production for multiple units so that we can see also how the back orders, the splitting works. So let's imagine we need to do 5 drawers. We can confirm the order, okay? So everything's available, everything's ready. Let's imagine we start consuming and our order will move to in progress. So we have started the production, and we realize that actually we will not be able to produce all 5 drawers right now, and at this specific moment we can only produce maybe 1 or 2, for example. So what we want to do is not to close the manufacturing order because we are not done with our production yet, but we want to already be able to separate the productions because we know in advance we will not be able to fulfill everything by the deadline. So what we can do is say, okay, I will actually produce less. So this is what we could do even in previous versions. What is new now is, for example, I say I want to produce 2 in total. I can either set the quantity, so this is the behavior we used to have, so I just change from 5 to 2 and that's it. Or the new feature is the split here that allows me to say, okay, I will produce 2 now and the remaining 3 in this case. Odoo will create automatically a back order for me, so it will actually split my order even if it's in progress. So I will click on split, and we see that this order has correctly moved from 5 to 2, so that's correct. That's the one I will want to focus on. And I have here my back order automatically created in confirmed status. And I didn't have to close the previous manufacturing order for allowing myself to create the remaining 3 units, which was a bit the way we used to work before. So this is quite, it looks small, but I think it can really change the way of working of many people. So that was it for the split. Let's now go in our shop floor and check a bit how the automatic lot generation would work now, and how we see the HTML field that I just populated. So I will just start the order so I don't get lost in my shop floor, and I will try to remember this sequence. Yeah, we open our shop floor. This is, as Mathieu was already anticipating, our MES of Odoo, so really the execution place. So whenever we want to create a manufacturing order, plan it, that's the backend. It does the job perfectly. We can process things in the backend. It's totally allowed. But the shop floor is really made for interacting. So if employees can use it, and we can log in, track the time, perform quality checks. So we can do a lot of things in the shop floor. So here is where you would log in with the different people. You can see what was assigned to you, what you've already started working on, how long has it been, and so on and so forth. Here we see all the orders that are ready to be launched, to be processed, or those that are already in progress, like here we see the status. And yeah, so Odoo automatically filters the readiness of the manufacturing. So we are not supposed to start the production of something for which we don't have components yet, or for which maybe the work center is blocked, and so on. So my order was starred. We see it here at the top of the list, so it's great. And we see it all. I mean, I don't need to really highlight it, but we see this this new field, the additional notes, appearing here. So I can click here, and it will download my picture in this case, or my document. And for the checklist, it's really cool because from the shop floor, I can also interact with this note. So I could say, for example, this. I can leave an extra remark, and yeah, the person should be able to see it from the backend after. So if we open the manufacturing order backend, so we go back here, we navigate, we see that anything I changed here is visible as well. So that's quite cool. Now, related to the lots, we see, just to highlight it here, we see that this product is tracked by lot. We can double check it here. The tracking is activated by lot. So we could generate the lot in advance. Based on the business, it could be possible, of course. But imagine we are just working like this. We have 2 units to produce, and normally we generate the lot at the end. We will start with our first operation. We will just mark as done. So I'm not going to track the time and perform all this right now, but just for you to get the idea. We will have the testing to do, same work center. So I will just go here, and here it is, my order. And finally, I have my long time assembly to do. You see that now I haven't recorded any lot. Before, if I was trying to close the production, I would get a warning message saying you need to record the lot, of course, which makes sense normally. And we would have to click here to register our the production serial lot number that we are producing. So it was working, it's fine, of course, but it was not the most user-friendly or smoothest way to operate. So if we don't need necessarily to specify our lot number, and we are okay with Odoo just generating one so that it guarantees us the unicity and traceability, we can just close the production and we will not be blocked. This is the warning for the consumption, as I was talking about. So when we consume more or less than expected, we will get a warning because of the flexible consumption. So we will always be warned when we consumed more or less than expected, but we can just confirm. And you see we are not blocked in terms of traceability. Let's see how it is on the backend. So let's just check what Odoo did for us. So if we remove the filter and we check the done orders, this one should be the case. You see that the lot number was put here automatically for me by Odoo. So I didn't have to worry about that. Now the question would be, what if I want to make sure my employees fill in the lot number and I don't want to use the automatic one suggested by Odoo? That's totally possible. What we can do, if we go back on our BOM, we could say we want to, at the last step, or it could be the first step, that's of course arbitrary, we can go in our long time assembly here and create an instruction, which is technically a quality check in the end. And when we create it, we can choose the type, register production. So this will guarantee that we cannot close the order unless we have recorded the quantity produced, the lot or serial. So it has different functionalities, but in this case, it does the job of really forcing you to validate to input a lot or a serial. So I will just create it like this. Okay. And I will just recreate a manufacturing order to make sure it's activated from now on. Okay, we still have our notes here. All right, and now I will start it again and go back to my shop floor. So this is just to show you the difference in the ways of working. So automatic generation by Odoo or user inputting the lot. So again, I can do my first step, the packing, mark as done. I will have the second, testing to do. I can mark as done. And now for the long time assembly, you see I don't have anymore the closed production here. I need to first do my quality check, which is in this case recording of registering the production. So when I open it here, I can validate how much I actually produced. Maybe I produced less or more than expected. And here I can still use the Odoo sequence, the automatic sequence, so I can still click on generate lot, and that's what Odoo would do. Or I can really type my lot number that I really want to specify. Or I could scan it, for example, and then I could be able to read it and populate it here. So you see now my registration is done, and now I can close the production. So this ensures that my employees don't forget to validate and record the lot number. So I think I mentioned everything here in terms of improvements for this part, so for the manufacturing and shop floor. I will move to the third part for the maintenance and repair news. We have two smaller improvements, I would say, but still quite nice, so worth showing to you. One for maintenance, mostly, of course, we have some UX improvements, and the main improvement is the new Gantt view that allows us to really it allows us to have all the added value of a Gantt view, so the dragging and dropping, so we can really be a bit more flexible and visual in our maintenance schedule requests. And for repair, again, we have some UX improvements, some cleaning of the form, for example. But the main feature now that we have since the latest version is the possibility to directly invoice a repair order instead of having to go through the quotation, sales order, and all the steps. We can just directly invoice a repair order without all the flow. So just to show you, I will just move back to the backend. So first with maintenance, so I will go in my maintenance app here, and I can go in my requests. So we see we have here a request, it's new, we can work on it, we can specify if it's for an equipment, for a work center, so here we have the choice. We have other fields here, but what I'm interested in is the schedule date and end in this case. So let's imagine I want to schedule it for today, to last 1 hour, that's perfect. So right now I planned it basically. I mean, I put the expected start and end date for this operation. So now if I go to my maintenance menu here, I have here the new planning view. So I can see my planning by equipment and planning by work center. Why? Because here, as I was saying, I can choose if it's for equipment or work center, so we can keep them separated in our plannings. And just for you to not get confused, the planning by work center here doesn't mean the manufacturing planning of manufacturing order. It just means the planning by work center in terms of maintenance. So all the maintenance requests scheduled for our work centers. So there are two different views. Of course, what we can do in maintenance, if we want to really, in a way, interfere with the manufacturing planning, we have a feature that allows us to block a work center when we have a maintenance for a work center. So we have that possibility. But right now I will stick to the equipment maintenance, and let's check it how it looks like in our brand new Gantt. So here, if I go in my planning, there it is. I see here by default it's grouped by equipment. I could maybe find other filters, other grouping, but for me that makes the most sense, of course. And again, here I can switch to a different view and play a bit with my time span. And here I see my requests, and I can easily just drag and drop and reschedule. I have the possibility to undo, so I really can, I shouldn't move it to another one, of course. So I can just undo it and go back to the original planning. So that's quite nice and quite visual, I would say. For maintenance, just before we move to repair, we also have a new status button here. You might have seen it in tasks, in projects. It's something we have in many places in work orders as well. We have the possibility to have a bit the status idea. And so now we have it also for maintenance requests. And so we can play with those values as well. So it's what you see. Well, I will just modify it here. So imagine we request a change from here. What we see afterwards, we have it also directly visible here, and we can also play with it or do things from here. So this is also a little UX improvement that gives us some extra functionalities here. For repair instead, so just to finish with this, in repairs now, as I was saying, we have the possibility to directly invoice without having to go through a sales order. So let me check. Yeah, this is perfect. We have a repair order, for example. We want to repair this product by replacing this product within it. When we confirm and do the repair, we can, as you see, invoice. We can also invoice directly, but I will want to do it after. So we can end the repair. And you see now, before we could create a quotation and go through quotation, confirm, or send to client, confirm, deliver in case there is any delivery to be done, and then invoice. While now we can directly invoice from the repair order. So we save a bit of clicks. And of course, if the procedure is the quotation and sale, it makes sense to do it, but we are not forced to go through that. So directly one click, I have an invoice from my repair order, which is nicely linked with my smart button here. And so that's, it's much smoother. I can confirm, and back to my repair order, I will see also the invoice related to it. So quite a nice feature again. All right, so we are done with showing you everything that's new in 19.1 and 19.2. We will now have a little Q&A together with Mathieu. So in a few minutes, seconds, we will be back. So stay tuned.
Hello, everybody, again. We are going to go through the list of questions here and try to answer as many as we can. So let's start. So over here, there's one about cleaning. Can we add cleaning in the planning? We have different types of cleaning, wet, dry, ethanol, how to do that. So in this case, I guess the question is that you just want to do sort of a maintenance on your work center. There are two ways to do that. Either you use the maintenance module that Anna showed you before. You can create a maintenance on the work center, and you can choose the option to block your work center for the time of the maintenance, so that when you plan manufacturing orders, that time slot is of course ignored. But you can also go to the work center directly, access the time off. There's a smart button there, and create just a manual time off if you want to do it simple. Note also that in the case of the maintenance, you can also do recurring maintenances if you want. So if those cleaning schedules are recurrent, let's say every Monday morning, you can ask Odoo to automate it for you, and every Monday morning we will block a few hours for that.
I guess otherwise, if it's just a buffer to include in your operations, there is the setup and cleanup time that you can set on your work center. You cannot specify in this case if it's which type of cleaning, like in your case, but it can also do the job to extend a bit your planning. If you know, on top of my operation time, I need to include maybe a specific 10 minutes to clean up after I'm done. I don't know if it's exactly the case, but yeah.
Here we have a second question. Sorry if I missed it, but has the Google Slide instruction been restored? No, but note that with the HTML field, you can put your link to your Google Slide there. All right. Then, can Odoo automatically group planning by product? We do process manufacturing, so create single products of the backend of multiple orders. So at the moment, no, there is no automatic planning of manufacturing orders. No. So you have to do your grouping yourself and plan manually in that case.
Yeah.
I see a technical question here about API and JSON. Here I will not be able to reply, unfortunately. But note that Odoo has an API, and so if you want to do any of those integrations, just check out our API documentation.
Mhm. Yeah, there are some other technical questions again for integrations. So I would say same answer to what Mathieu just said.
Here there's a question about maintenance. So a question from LinkedIn, how do the maintenance and repair workflows impact production scheduling, especially in scenarios with machine breakdowns or unexpected disruptions? So in that case, as I mentioned just before, when you do a maintenance request on a work center, there is a checkbox to specify that you want to block the work center for the time of that maintenance, be it for a preventive or a corrective maintenance. So you can use that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's a question here. Wait, there are a lot of questions. Sorry, I'm taking a bit of time. Is it possible to create a BOM including internal manufacturing orders and subcontracting? If so, is it possible to calculate a value to the BOM by combining both internal and external cost? Yes, so the BOM can have several levels. You can include subcontracting orders, you can include semi-finished products, and all of the costing will be considered in the total and in the unit cost computation of the final product. Can you recap flexible consumption? Maybe this one I leave to you, Anna.
I can recap. So we used to have a field called flexible consumption, and you used to be able to choose between 3 options. So you had allowed with warning, and blocked, something like that. So what it does is basically asking you, what do you want to do when your operators in the shop floor or just someone in the backend consumes more or less than expected. And you had the choice if you want it always allowed or always blocked, meaning only the administrator can validate this different consumption. Now, by default, the only option you have is the allowed with warning, which in the end does the job. So you can consume differently than expected, but you will always have a warning to mention like, hey, you consumed less. Did you do it on purpose? Is it normal? Was it a mistake? So you can review and then either confirm what you've done. So yes, it's correct. I consumed more or less. Or, oh, no, it was a mistake. Let me fix it before I close my manufacturing order. So that's a bit the idea of flexible consumption. No.
All right, thank you, Anna. From a manufacturing order, is it possible to generate multiple purchase orders for products out of stock to the same supplier instead of matching all of the products in just one order? I think if you use MTO, in that case, Odoo separates the POs by default.
Yeah.
So you can try that. And if you want to get on the same topic, different quotations from the same supplier for the same product, there is an alternative purchase order setting that you can activate in the purchase module, and from the same PO you can ask quotations to different vendors. Sometimes in the manufacturing order, when the purchase order is done, the system shows the availability of items, although the goods will arrive later. Is there a specific reason for that? Usually when you confirm a purchase order for components that are missing in the manufacturing order, you will see an expected date on the manufacturing order for those components, but it will only show as available when you actually validate the reception of the PO. Is it possible to outsource some part of the manufacturing order? So yes. So if you add a subcontracting product to your BOM, Odoo will generate a PO for that product, and yeah, you can then ask your subcontractor to provide you with that product. We get a lot of questions also often about, is it possible to outsource a specific operation? At the moment, that is not possible. If you want to outsource part of the manufacturing order, you have to add a subcontracting product to the MO or to your bill of materials in advance, and Odoo will manage it like that.
That's a good one.
You want me to answer this one?
Yes.
Why is the time registration not available on repairers, as it makes sense to invoice services spent as well beside used components? Of course, I agree. It makes sense to invoice the time. It's just that on the repair order, we decided not to go as far as to a timesheet on it. I think that's maybe a little bit too advanced. However, note 2 things. First of all, when you invoice, as Anna showed, or you create a sale order, you can easily add a service line at that moment. On the repair order, there are properties fields, which means that in standard, so without Studio, you can add yourself any fields that you want on the repair order. For instance, duration field that your employee can fill out manually to say how many hours they have worked on the repair order. And for the next version, hopefully by 19.3, we are currently working on a service tab, so that you don't need to add the service tab, the service lines manually onto the quotation or invoices, and they can just be directly registered on the repair order, as it has been a recurring feedback indeed.
I think this is linked. The next question is also linked to this. Tracking time on a ticket, so the link with help desk and repair. Same idea, so you will see on the help desk the time you spent, and easily you can add it to your invoice or quote after the repair.
When are we going to have better food label applications? So at the moment, it's not planned in the standard, but my colleagues who are working in the food industry package, which is available also with Odoo, they are working on food labels at the moment. I just spoke to them this week actually. And so for the people who are downloading the food distribution industry package from the Odoo website, you will soon have really nice looking labels coming to that package soon. So yeah, very soon, I guess. Can we split the MO in different sub-MOs with same lot at the end? This will help when you have limited production batch capacity. Yes. You can split your MOs in as many MOs that you want. It's just that when the MO, as Anna showed, when your MO is in progress and you use the split function, by default we create one backorder MO. But that backorder MO, if it's in the confirmed status and you use the standard split functionality, it will propose you, it will open a wizard and it will ask you how many manufacturing orders you want to create. You can also set a batch size so that Odoo automatically puts that batch size amount onto your splitted manufacturing orders.
We can maybe show that actually.
Yeah, you can show it.
So we have a new field since 19, I think, 0.0. We have here the batch size, and this would allow you to, when you split, automatically suggest the quantity. So you always do by batch of 5, for example. It means if you have a manufacturing order for the drawer for 100 to produce, when you split, it will suggest your batch size of 5. You can change it, and then it will tell you how many splits will it be, so 20 orders in total, and then you can split in advance, and that's it. So I think it does the job of, and then for same lot, you can easily put your productions in the same lot. It's not going to be blocking for unicity. The idea of the lot is that you can have as many units in the same lot as needed. Yeah.
Okay. Is it possible to disassemble a finished product? Yes, you have to use the unbuild feature for that. You can either do it directly from the MO when the manufacturing order is done. You will have an unbuild action that is proposed on the MO, or there's also a specific that's it. And then there's also here, if you go to the operations, if you want to just do it from scratch, you can create it from here, select your manufacturing order and disassemble. All right. I think that's it for the questions. That was the final one. Thanks a lot for your time today, and see you soon, hopefully.
Yeah, thank you.